The Galactic Ascendance Academy stood as a monument of interspecies cooperation, its halls filled with the brightest minds from across the galaxy. A pinnacle of peace, it was a place where the potential of each race was explored and nurtured. It was the Academy's mission to unlock latent abilities, to bring forth talents long forgotten or overlooked. Every species was represented, each one contributing to a broader understanding of life itself. Yet, one race stood apart, the humans, or as they were often called, Deathworlders. Their origin, a chaotic, dangerous planet teeming with predators and natural disasters, had earned them this reputation. Unlike the serene, low-risk worlds that produced many of the galaxy's most advanced species, Earth was an anomaly. Life there was a constant battle for survival. While other species had adapted to peace, humans had adapted to danger. And that made them a curiosity, a relic of a violent past. For the first time, humans had been invited to the Academy. A small group of students from Earth, sent to represent their kind, walked its halls now. Their presence didn't go unnoticed. Whispers followed them, and the other students' eyes lingered a little too long. In a school filled with telepaths, psychic beings, and creatures of immense intellect, these humans were seen as rough, primitive. They were strong, sure, but in a galaxy where minds mattered more than muscles, strength meant little. The human students kept to themselves, aware of the undercurrent of judgment. They weren't oblivious to how the others saw them. To many, they were an experiment in themselves. Could a species forged by constant struggle even adapt to a place of learning and peace? There was skepticism from the faculty, too. Professors who had spent their lives studying more refined species found the humans brutish. Their potential, if it existed, was buried too deep, masked by millennia of instinct and aggression. Then came the announcement. The Academy's head, a towering being with a mind said to stretch across galaxies, called for a grand experiment. It was a test designed to bring forth the hidden powers of each species. Every student, no matter their origin, would participate. The test would push them to their limits, revealing abilities they may not even have known they possessed. For some, it would be psychic trials, pushing their telepathic range or unlocking new levels of foresight. For others, it would be endurance or problem-solving, tailored to their species' strengths. The human students were intrigued but wary. The other species thrived in these controlled environments where psychic prowess or precise mental abilities shined. But humans? Their abilities weren't flashy, and their potential didn't lie in mind tricks or mental feats. Still, they signed up, prepared to represent their race, even though they knew what the others were thinking. Humans would fail. The murmurs around the Academy grew louder in the days leading up to the experiment. Some saw the humans' participation as a kind gesture, a way of integrating them into galactic society without expecting much. They were the underdogs, and no one expected them to perform well. The other species viewed the test as an opportunity to showcase their superiority, to remind the galaxy why they were considered advanced. The humans, on the other hand, felt like outsiders walking into an arena where the rules didn't quite fit. The humans weren't there for glory. They knew their limits, or at least thought they did. The Academy, however, was about to learn that limits are not always what they seem. The experiment began in the Academy's vast testing chambers, each room meticulously designed to push the limits of different species. Some chambers simulated high-gravity environments, while others recreated extreme climates or mental stressors. Alien students moved confidently through their tests. The Colorians, with their superior telepathic abilities, floated in complex mental simulations, controlling objects with their minds. The Ralvanians, creatures evolved from an aquatic world, were tested in submerged chambers, their endurance and ability to manipulate water on full display. Each room was customized to draw out the innate powers of these advanced species. Every student seemed to excel in their respective trials, showing off the precision of their telekinesis, the sharpness of their intellect, or their physical mastery. It was a display of the galaxy's finest abilities, a testament to millennia of peaceful evolution. The faculty watched, impressed, nodding at the expected outcomes. Everything was proceeding smoothly. Then it was the humans' turn. Their tests appeared almost mundane in comparison. Simple endurance tasks, quick reflex challenges. The humans were ushered into rooms that seemed underwhelming next to the exotic trials of their peers. They ran, lifted, reacted to moving targets. It was basic, physical. The human students performed capably, hitting targets, completing tasks, but there was nothing spectacular about their results. No psychic feats, no mental control. They moved through their challenges with steady efficiency, but their efforts were met with quiet dismissiveness. Alien students whispered among themselves, barely hiding their disdain. The humans hadn't failed, but they hadn't stood out either. It was as if the experiment had confirmed what many already believed. Humans were adequate but unremarkable. Their strength and endurance, while passable, didn't compare to the mind-bending abilities displayed by other species. The faculty, too, made notes, watching the humans with interest, but no surprise. They had expected as much. Primitive tasks for a primitive species. There were moments, brief flashes, where the humans showed something more. A small malfunction in one of the test chambers was fixed quickly by one of the human students, their hands moving with practiced ease as they reconfigured their broken mechanism. Another human completed a puzzle faster than expected, adapting their approach midway through. But these moments went largely unnoticed, drowned out by the grandeur of the other species' abilities. The test continued, each student rotating through the simulation rooms, pushing themselves to their limits. It was clear the other species were excelling, their performance reinforcing the idea that they belonged at the top of the galactic hierarchy. The humans, meanwhile, blended into the background, their contributions steady but uninspiring. The experiment seemed to be proceeding as expected, with humans serving as little more than a footnote in the grand scheme of things. But underneath the surface, something else was stirring. The Academy's power core, a sophisticated piece of technology meant to handle the energy demands of these complex simulations, began to show signs of strain. Unnoticed at first, it started with small irregularities, flickers in the lights, slight drops in temperature control. The instructors and scientists monitoring the experiment picked up on these anomalies, but dismissed them as minor issues, nothing out of the ordinary for a system as complex as the Academy's. The humans continued their tests, unaware of the growing danger. But the signs of instability became more frequent. Instructors started to murmur among themselves, casting glances at the control panels. Data showed rising pressure levels in the core, a problem that shouldn't have been possible with the Academy's advanced technology. Alarms hadn't sounded yet, but tension was starting to build behind the scenes. Something was wrong. Then, without warning, the first alarm rang out. It wasn't a drill. The power core, responsible for maintaining all of the Academy's systems, had begun a rapid, uncontrollable spike in energy output. Emergency protocols kicked in, but it was clear to the instructors and scientists that the situation was worse than they had anticipated. The malfunction was escalating faster than they could respond to, and the Academy's systems were failing to compensate. The reactor core's malfunction escalated rapidly. Alarms blared throughout the Academy as lights flickered and went out. The Academy's systems, once hailed as infallible, were failing. The core, overloading beyond control, began to melt down. Heat levels spiked, and with the main containment shields offline, the danger spread to every corner of the facility. Structural damage rippled through the walls, cracks forming in once solid foundations. Critical systems began to shut down, and the Academy was on the brink of catastrophe. Panic set in almost instantly. The alien students, conditioned in safe, controlled environments, were utterly unprepared for a disaster of this magnitude. Their advanced abilities, so effective in tests and simulations, were useless now. Telepaths struggled to maintain focus amidst the chaos, their psychic control slipping in the face of pure physical danger. Those with enhanced intelligence or agility found themselves overwhelmed, unable to make quick decisions. Fear and confusion spread like wildfire. For many, their instincts were to flee, but the collapsing structure made that impossible. They were trapped. Some froze entirely, paralyzed by a situation they'd never encountered in their protected lives. The faculty, too, found themselves at a loss, their technology failing them when they needed it most. For all their knowledge and superiority, they had no plan for this kind of raw, unpredictable disaster. The humans, however, didn't hesitate. They had faced worse on Earth. their own death world where danger was a constant companion. In the chaos, they didn't panic. They moved. Instinct kicked in, and their training in survival took over. While the others stood frozen or fled blindly, the humans quickly assessed the situation. Their eyes darted around the collapsing halls, scanning for ways out, calculating the fastest routes to safety, identifying the critical points that needed attention to prevent total disaster. One of the human students spotted a control panel near the reactor. Systems that had gone offline could be manually reset, but it required physical intervention, a job most species would find impossible under the current conditions. But humans? This was their environment. One of the students, using nothing but brute strength and quick thinking, managed to reach the panel, forcing the controls into override. They began rerouting energy from the core, stabilizing the critical systems one by one. Meanwhile, another human noticed a fallen alien student, injured by debris. Without hesitation, they rushed over, performing first aid with practiced ease, adapting quickly to the alien physiology. Their movements were calm, measured. There was no panic, no hesitation, just action. Around them, the situation worsened, but the humans continued to work, undeterred by the stress. They were in their element. As the core continued its unstable spiral, the humans coordinated with faculty members, guiding them on how to stabilize the situation. The aliens watched in awe. The very species they had dismissed as brutes, relics of a bygone era, were now taking control. The humans moved efficiently, issuing commands, rerouting power, preventing further damage. Their instincts weren't about telepathy or advanced intelligence, they were about survival in the most direct and practical sense. The true nature of humanity was being unveiled. Their power wasn't in psychic prowess or mental superiority. It was their resilience, their ability to keep calm in chaos, to adapt under pressure. In a galaxy that prized perfection, humanity thrived in imperfection. Their strength came from their experiences, their constant exposure to danger and unpredictability. Where others faltered, humans pushed forward. Where systems failed, they found workarounds. The humans led the final efforts to stabilize the reactor, saving the Academy from complete destruction. Their ability to act decisively, adapt quickly, and maintain control under stress was something the alien students and faculty had never seen. It wasn't flashy, it wasn't showy, but it was effective. It was survival, pure and simple. In that moment, the galaxy saw what made Deathworlders truly special. It wasn't their physical prowess or mental agility, it was their unyielding will to survive, no matter the odds. With the humans at the helm, the Academy's power core was stabilized just in time. The frantic alarms ceased and the emergency systems slowly came back online. The structural integrity of the Academy held, and the impending destruction was averted. In the aftermath of the crisis, the alien students and faculty stood in stunned silence, watching as the humans calmly deactivated the remaining emergency protocols, confirming that the danger had passed. The alien students, who had frozen or panicked, slowly gathered themselves, their faces showing a mix of disbelief and awe. Many of them had never experienced such raw, unfiltered danger before. They had always relied on their advanced technology, psychic abilities, or superior intellect to solve problems. But in the face of this sudden catastrophe, none of those abilities had mattered. It was the humans, with their quick thinking and ability to act decisively under pressure, who had saved them all. The faculty, still processing what had happened, quietly reviewed the footage from the experiment and the reactor meltdown. It was clear that the humans had not only prevented a disaster, but had done so with a level of skill and composure that none of the Academy's most advanced species could have managed. The instructors, many of whom had viewed humans with mild curiosity at best, now stood humbled. The humans' abilities were far more profound than they had given them credit for. As the immediate danger passed, murmurs of admiration and respect began to ripple through the halls. The alien students who had once dismissed humans as relics of a violent past now saw them in a new light. The resilience, adaptability, and survival instincts that had been honed on Earth, a world full of chaos and danger, were not weaknesses, but strengths that made humans uniquely capable in the most extreme situations. In the aftermath, discussions among the faculty and students became focused on what had transpired. Scientists reanalyzed the data, going over every action the humans had taken during the crisis. They had acted with purpose and efficiency, not because of any latent psychic abilities or advanced technology, but because of their ability to adapt to stress and thrive in chaos. For the first time, the researchers saw the depth of human potential, something not immediately visible, but crucial in moments of true crisis. Alien students who had once looked down on the humans now approached them. Their tone shifted from disdain to respect. So, he asked how the humans had kept their focus during the disaster. Others wanted to know more about the humans' homeworld, Earth, and how life in such a dangerous environment had shaped them. The humans, for their part, remained modest, explaining that survival was part of their nature. They had been born into a world where unpredictability was the norm, and they had learned to adapt in ways that the more sheltered species could barely comprehend. The change in perception was palpable. In the days following the event, the once isolated human students found themselves surrounded by newfound allies, students eager to understand more about what made Deathworlders so resilient. The experiment meant to test psychic or mental powers had instead revealed something far deeper. Humanity's power was their adaptability, their ability to think on their feet, and their refusal to give in when others might have succumbed to fear. As the humans returned to their quarters that evening, they didn't celebrate or gloat. There were no boasts about their actions, no need for validation. They had done what they always did, survived. For them, it was a simple fact of existence. They had proven their worth not through grand displays of power, but through their ability to face the unknown and come out the other side. In a galaxy full of advanced species with extraordinary abilities, it was humanity's quiet strength that had shone through. The Academy had learned a valuable lesson. Sometimes, the greatest power isn't found in flashy talents or superior technology, but in the simple, unwavering will to survive. The humans had shown the galaxy that their true potential lay not in what could be easily seen or measured, but in their resilience and grit, a reminder that in the face of overwhelming odds, survival itself is its own kind of superpower.